We are working with 6 civil society organizations in 5 countries across the world as they take an adaptive learning approach to engaging their governments through the Open Government Partnership. So this is the second of 4 workshops that we have planned with our partners. The first workshop, which took place in September in Nairobi, that was sort of the inception workshop, able to come up with a common framework for how we were going to practice adaptive learning and sort of design the process.
When I went to Nairobi, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect of this new approach to project planning and implementation. But the learning experience was very great.
That process helped us not only understand it, but really appreciate adaptive learning as a concept and as a strategy in the development work that we do.
There's a focus on the OGP in these projects, and that's one big common thread.
We are demanding for the government to be able to be accountable and open to the citizens.
Respect for rights, participatory rights, the right of the people to know, and the responsibility of government to be accountable to its people.
We want local stakeholders, local civil society organizations, as well as local governments to have a stronger voice in the crafting of the OGP action plan.
This is an opportunity, after having worked for a while, to come back together to share experiences and insights into how things have been going. And it's also an opportunity to reflect on the adaptive learning process.
And it's really very interesting to learn what's happening in other countries as well as learning from their experiences.
You have also to do proper mapping using the community oversight committees so that you don't call forums that participants are all just from one political divide.
We are working different environments, but the issues and challenges are almost similar.
The kind of challenges that we grapple with are not particularly unique. Other projects in other national contexts are going through similar challenges.
Local governments comply, they submit the data, but these are data that are not sufficiently analyzed.
I think we're seeing in the various countries which our partners are working that the national level political climate isn't necessarily disposed to open government at the moment. Through taking an adaptive learning approach, partners can figure out how to navigate really complex political challenges and figure out how to open governance in ways that matter in their contexts.
What is it that we are learning along the way? How are we incorporating those lessons?
They've begun implementing their projects. They've gone through one cycle of the adaptive learning process.
Get to adapt to the changes and implement the changes as per what the community feels fit for us to get the best results possible at the end of it.
I've been using that tool to reflect with my colleagues in the process of implementing the project. Even if your project outcomes change, ultimately you would be making impact with the goal that you'd set for yourself.
We're now particularly focused on documenting and tracking these changes and being more conscious about adaptations that are undertaken during project implementation.
Adaptive learning is like challenging the truth. When you are challenging, actually you are coming up with new ideas, new approach, and new ways of acting and working and responding upon the issues that are coming in.
What co-option means today in today's context may change in tomorrow's context when the faces and voices are different in terms of the new government.
We need to engage with the institutions as compared to engaging with individuals, because once we have a new political leader or a new political regime, we have to actually adapt to what is coming next, or we engage with the champions in the institutions who will help the continuity of the conversations we've had before with the previous government.
It assures you that even if your initial assumptions had been wrong, it was open to change that was informed by the realities on the ground, the evidence that you have collected. It's important to know that you are not locked down to what you had initially submitted to funder. It's open, that flexibility and adaptability.
It's a form of reality check on how you are progressing with your project. Adaptive learning, it's also about flexibility, understanding when to adjust, by deoccupying yourself from the project and actually reflecting on what you have done.
What we're trying to do is set up a community, and it's a community in which we're all working together and we're accountable to one another horizontally as opposed to vertically. And the emphasis is on supporting our partners who are working on the ground.
The donors actually sit together in a participatory approach that you don't see in a lot of projects. They actually put a lot of efforts to make sure that the grantees, the donors, and other aspects that we need to think of in the project we think about it together.
In terms of the community that's coming out of this process, I think it's been a great experience of bonding together, working on projects that have similar themes. We're working in contexts where we can share similar experiences.
Participation is the most important aspect that needs to be applied in the adaptive learning journey.
Relax and share, reflect, dare to be vulnerable with things that you're not very, very sure about. And in that process, get affirmed. This can actually work out. The goal still remains very, very clear.
So when we sit together with other countries, we may see that other things could work and we never think about it before. So from the sharing and the learning together, we finally can come up with other ideas that is inspired from that sharing and learning moment.
We can get other people's impressions on what we've been doing, get their inputs on what has gone well and what could possibly go better.
I get to learn and take home the ways they've adapted to different issues and the different kind of change in environment and in the political scene.
Adaptive learning integrates the monitoring and the learning into the work that you're doing as opposed to holding it as something separate.
You draw lessons while reflecting on your original plan. You don't need to be fixed with the original plan. As you go along, you find that there are things that require some changes. You change it for the good of the project that we are implementing.
Be willing to be challenged. You understand the context in which you're working. You understand the way it impacts your project and the possible outcomes of your project. And you're willing to navigate the challenges.
So the way projects are funded, you are tied up with all the limitations of the funder, limitations in terms of the partners. The very unique process of actually stepping back and being able to reflect on what you have done, what you're planning to do.
For some, it's not been as positive as they would have expected it to be, especially when you go to a country and there's this change in government, which completely alters the political context in which that project is going on and forces you to have to change your assumptions, for instance, and look at other ways in which you may have to take the project forward. It's been very, very useful to see that level of resourcefulness. And I'm taking that away with me.
We came up with some good suggestions about how we can tweak some of the tools that we're working with. We were able to reflect on what's working well, which was really useful.
Walk the talk. If we tell the government that they should be participative the same way that we are doing here.
There's an opportunity to synthesize the experience or the learning journeys of these partners and learn a little bit more about the value of adaptive learning, to explore how it works, whether it's been useful to these partners, and also to inform the future of initiatives like Making All Voices Count, to inform our work in the future, and to speak to the broader field, both in open government and development more generally, figure out how to make course corrections and strengthen impact and effectiveness over time.
It's very insightful, something that needs to be, I think, practiced in project management. In general.
I think this workshop needs to be replicated in any other projects,